scale, weight loss, and wellness. I'm your host, Coach Monica. I'm joined today by Coach Darcy, and we are here to guide you through the ins and outs of a lifestyle that's transformed not just our lives, but the lives of countless women navigating the waves of perimenopause and menopause. Whether you're here to shed weight, understand your body better, or simply find a community that gets it, you're in the right place. So sit back and enjoy the next few minutes as we tackle the hot issues of today.
Hey everyone, it's Coach Darcy here. As you can see, I am by myself. I don't know if I'm live. I had a little stressful moment. I don't know if my internet's working. So if you would tell me hello in the comment section, that would be fantastic. I am a little early today, but in the same breath, I'm excited to get started on this topic. As you can see, I am by myself. But I'm going to take a moment, and I would love for you to take a moment to share this out with your people. Share this out with anybody that you feel is interested in this topic today, which you don't know what the topic is, so you should share it anyway and then find out. But it would be lovely if you would share this out. And I have to do this whole algorithm thing to share out, and it's really obnoxious. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know what groups I'm sharing it out to, but hey, when you hop on here, just please say hello. Where are you watching from? This is going to be I'm going to try to make this a very relaxed meeting between you and me, because my host is not here, and I don't know what's going to happen when I have to do all the talking. I don't know what that's like. I love having my not my co-leader, but my leader here chatting back and forth. We banter a lot. That's what we do. This is what this is for. But today, being election day 2024, the unknown, oh my goodness, the unknown is just nail biting. In a peaceful, just interesting to see where we're going to go in the next 4 years. Like to me, the curiosity of all of that is so intriguing and nerve-wracking at the same time. So please, as you hop on, just throw up some hearts for me. I'm by myself. Please give me a lot of grace today as I am streaming on all of Coach Monica's platforms. And so I need to know if the chat area is working too. So I'd love to say, like, if you just jump on here and say, hey, then I can see you. But today is going to have a good topic. I think it is beneficial to have this. As coaches, you wonder, or as just a person in general that is maybe looking to lose weight or interested in this world and doesn't really have any deep understanding of why in the world would anybody coach this lifestyle when you can get all this information out on the internet. Um, Understandable. But today we're going to talk about that. But not yet. So hang tight. Join with me. Say hello as you hop on here. Oh, thank you for hopping on here. And please, I'm going to say this. Go and vote. Get out of it's not even cold over up north here. Like it's not chilly. So you might need to bring an umbrella. You might need to bring a chair. But please go get in those lines and vote today. Your vote matters. I don't care what side you are deciding to do it. The freedom that we have to be able to go out and vote is so important. So go do that. Please go and do that. Your vote matters. So Election Day, November 5th, 2024. Coach Darcy is by herself. And here we are. So I wanted to update you guys on a little bit on my journey. And we just closed out last week. We just closed out our carnivore group, our 30-day challenge. And oh my goodness, I'm going to update you. And I'm just going to adjust my hat and unplug one of my ears because it's too much. It's too much of me in my ears. Um, so the carnivore challenge just blew us away. It blew us away. We had about 60, over 60 clients that went through the 30-day carnivore challenge this fall. And there was about 75% that made it through to the end and just blew us away. We have a group tally of how much weight was lost. I don't think that we shared this. We might have shared it last week, but hey, if you're on here and you don't know it, I'm going to tell you. They lost a total of 478 pounds together. And those are only the people that decided to share because not everybody just wanted to. Some people were like, I only lost 2 pounds. Those 2 pounds matter, y'all. Those 2 pounds matter. So we had just an amazing group. I loved the group chat. I loved the accountability. And we have a lot of people that went through that challenge that are going to continue on with that challenge. And they're going to go for another 60 days. They're going to push it to maybe 90 days. And for me, let me just share where I am in the carnivore journey. I am at day 72. Today is day 72 for me. And what marks day 72 as super special to me is the fact that I have gone dairy free for those 72 days, which I thought was near impossible for this gal to go dairy free. I think it was Dr. Barry. It was one of the influencers. I'm pretty sure it was Dr. Barry. He was talking to me about how we are the only mammal that consume other mammals' milk. Something to think about. And I know that there's a point in time where we need to stop drinking human milk because there is that point in time. But just like all these other animals and mammals out there, they stop drinking milk at a certain time too. But we're the only ones that drink other mammals' milk. And the difference between American milk and other countries' milk is that it's so highly processed. You think that milk is healthy. We've been told that milk is healthy, and it's so processed. And as processed, it gains more sugar quality. So if you have skim milk in your refrigerator right now, I want you to go look at the sugar content. It will blow your mind away. I think a full gallon is, it's been a while since I looked at it, but I'm thinking it's like 13 grams of sugar for a serving size. That's a lot for milk. So anyway, and dairy is the same way. The different cheeses that you get, it's going to be highly, highly processed. And mozzarella cheese is probably the most processed and soft, one of the softest. I think brie is another one that's really soft. But anyway, it wasn't doing my body good, and I'll explain a little bit later why I nixed it because we're going to go with the toolbox here. I'm going to utilize my. I'm sorry, I'm smacking my lips. I'm dry. Hold on. Pause. Okay, different from smacking my mouth, but I'll do my best. So, again, if you hop on here, say hello. Where are you watching from? I'm curious. And let me know. Have you voted yet? Let me know in the comments if you have voted today, or if you plan on voting today, or if you've already voted like last week. Like, let me know. I want to see some feedback over there. I talked about the podcast that was dropped. I'm not quite sure what the topic is about. I haven't looked at it myself. But I just know that every Tuesday we drop a new podcast. And just a little sneak peek, some of our upcoming podcasts that we have recorded are pretty awesome. I'm loving it. I'm loving what we have been talking about. So just stay tuned for the future podcast recordings that we have going on. So 72 days on carnivore, our clients that went on the carnivore challenge, 478 pounds lost that were recorded from all those people. Fantastic. All right, here's what we're going to talk about. Hey, you guys like my little molecule background? That's those are collagen peptides molecules. Thought it'd be different today because I am myself. I just wanted everybody to remember that Coach Monica is not here, and say a quick prayer for her as she is working a poll. I think at the polls. She's working at the polls. That sounds terrible. She's working at the elections sites. So anyway, Coach Monica is my boss. She is the CEO of KM Health Coaching, and she's also my sister. So we do little jabs here and there. But she is the best teacher. She's the best coach that I couldn't imagine working for anybody else. She strives. She strives to help others find the hope that they need, and that's why she started this company, and that is why I love the working for her, because learning about all of this information is just amazing in itself, and learning about from her and being taught from her by her, like, oh, it's amazing. She's a great coach. She's a great teacher. She's just inspirational altogether, and I'm glad to call her my boss. But today we're going to talk about the lifestyle that we choose. I haven't really pinpointed the roadmap that I'm going to take you down today. I'm not sure how long this is going to take either, but I do know that since working and learning the keto health style in the coaching world, I have gained so much knowledge over the years through not only our own personal experience as coaches and working with the different types of people, but so many of those nutrition experts out there. We have so many books that we read of theirs that just influence us, and altogether we have collected all this information from all of these influencers out here, and we have tried some, and we have come to our own conclusions of what we believe works best. So here we go. Are you ready? Hang tight, because it's going to be hearing a lot of this voice right her, because again, I'm just going to point out that my host is not here. I'm the host today, which is real scary. But I'm going to fine. Just give me grace. So, choosing what lifestyle according to your needs. Now, that statement alone, we can talk about all the diets out there. All of the nutritional ideas, the foundations. You've got the vegans that think that their way is the best. You've got the vegetarians that think their way is the best. You got the carnivores that think their way is the best. You got all these lifestyles that just become so daggum confusing. And this, my friend, is looping back to what I stated before. The fact that there's so much information out there on the internet. It gets so confusing. So why the heck would somebody need a coach? Well, because a good coach, one that listens, one that hears you, one that sees you, will know what is best for your bio-individual need. That is the importance. You might think that you're going to listen to that doctor that wants to put you on statins because your cholesterol is high. You might think that that is the only person that you should be listening to. I have my opinion about that, especially since I recently was, I don't say threatened. It was kind of a threatening words of, yeah, your numbers seem a little high. It's probably going to be time for statins for you. When a doctor does not take the time, as a coach does, to understand how your body's working, why those numbers might be high, what's been going on in your life that might be causing those numbers to be high, what maybe you have been consuming that is making those numbers high out of normal range. That is the difference between somebody that you go to see for 15 minutes versus hiring somebody that can be with you till you're done with them, until you understand what I'm going to explain to you, what we teach you as coaches. So it's a lot. It's a lot of information, but hang tight with me. Please again, share this out with your friends. Share this out on your page. We want to go against this dumb thing called algorithm. And the more people that share, the more people that are going to be able to find us here at KM Health Coaching. So, choosing what lifestyle according to your needs. What does that mean? This is pretty much the average an average woman from the age 35, no. We'll say 40 and up. They've been through a lot. And in men, I'm going to add men in there too because they do the same thing. They've been through a lot. Age 30, they're noticing things aren't working the same. Things aren't metabolizing the same. You may have more aches and pains. And at the age of about the age 30 is when you start to try all of the diets out there, the elixirs, the detoxes, the healthy, God made it. I'm not quoting. I'm quoting, but God made a food, so it's got to be good. All that stuff. Eating fruits and vegetables, low calories, exercising. But we don't take into consideration that usually in that time frame that we are in, and I'm not necessarily including everybody because we're not all in the same boat, but life starts to get a little bit more like you have to adult more. You may have some kids, the kids stages that they may be going into some sports. Maybe you've got a career that's happening that's highly stressful. So you got to take in consideration that you just don't have time for yourself now. Something that's quick and convenient is usually the answer, whether that be a drive-through, whether that be a diet pill or a shot, whether that be the frozen meals, whether that be a sit-down restaurant. All of those things are full of conveniences. Quick, easy. Oh, I gained 5 pounds. Let me start to starve myself. Somehow then we become little rabbits that eat small, tiny meals. And all that to be said, we in about that time frame, you might have started a little bit sooner than that. You start to learn that you get into this cycle. The cycle of, I lost the 5 pounds that I was hoping to lose. Now I can go back and, let those tasty foods that I used to love and eat, now I get to binge eat those. And I'll make it a smaller portion, though. I'll make it smaller portion. But I'm not going to give up the things that are good in life. What's the point of that? You have that mindset of, what's the point of that? Like we only live once. YOLO, all that. I haven't heard that phrase in a while. But then you're like back into the cycle where you gain maybe 5 more pounds than what you lost. So you lost 5 pounds and then you gained the 5 pounds and then you gained 5 more pounds. You're starting to wonder, what the heck is your body doing? Not metabolizing like it used to. So Then you get into the stage of where I was speaking about before. You've tried all those diets, elixirs, detoxes, shots, diet pills, rabbit eating, all of that. And now you're entering in perimenopause. Men, you might be gaining this insulin resistant belly that you're like, "Well, why do I have this? I'm working out. I still have this belly. What in the world?" So you're entering these phases and stages and you're like, "This is not working." But we keep getting trapped into this diet cycle. We're being taught by our doctors to eat veggies and fruits and or carbs, but we're not told measurements. We're not told, well, how much? We are in America and we don't have a thing called moderation. Even in our fruits and vegetables, y'all, those things add up. Those fruits and vegetables have a lot of carbs. When you are over eating carbs, that means that you're over fueling your body with insulin. And when you pump too much insulin, it's just going to store it as fat. It's going to store it as insulin resistance. So you've got all this stuff that's going on in your body, but yet you're still caught into that mousetrap. You remember that game? I think it's called Mousetrap. But where it's like I didn't play it very much, but I just remember the commercials for it. And it was like the mouse, and you get stuck back into the trap. You get back into the trap of the diet cycle, and you've got to new something. Somebody else discovered something new that's good for your body. You know, some people, I have it down here. We get into the standard American diet fixed mindset. We're listening to our doctors. Now we're on meds, and those meds are accumulating because it's not going to just take one to fix you. Once that one you take is now going to affect something else in your body. And then it's going to affect this other thing that you need to have a counteraction with this other medication. It's like a tumbling cycle that you can't get out of. You're in that mousetrap. So you get into a fixed mindset because you don't know what to believe anymore, because there's so much information out there about veganism, about vegetarianism, about paleoism, about standard American diet, what the FDA is approving, what is health conscious Cheerios that's going to lower your cholesterol, that's good for your heart, all this nonsense. And you're just stuck in the cycle. You can't get out of it. So now we're going to have to go into another approach where I'm gonna pick out. I'm looking at my notes because when Darcy does not have notes, she goes down a lot of rabbit holes. Today, we're gonna stay focused. That was one tiny little rabbit hole. Now we're out of it. So I'm gonna talk about some tiers that you can choosing the lifestyle according to your needs. So we're gonna choose some tiers. Maybe I want you to, as I go through these, I want you to think about what stage, what kind of lifestyle are you in? What kind of needs do you need? Because let me tell you, those diet cycles are not taking into consideration what age you are. They're not taking in consideration what ailments you already have, what genes that you potentially carry. And I'll go into that a little bit about myself. But when we are stuck in that same diet cycle, any diet will work. Any diet will work. A shot, a pill, meal plans, low carb. What's some other ones? Low calorie, calories in, calories out, exercise. It's going to work to a point. and then it's going to stop. And then you're going to be disappointed. You're going to be, okay, why is this the problem? What is happening? This was working. I spent a whole bunch of money on these meal plans and now they're not working. I'm not losing weight. If just a side note, if those meal plans that you are consuming have way too many carbs in them, maybe they are low calorie, high carb, you're going to find yourself in a pickle, because when you're not eating enough calories and you're not eating enough fats and you're eating way too many carbs, you are not going to lose body fat. You're going to get into what we call a stall, or a broken metabolically. There's another term that's not coming to my brain right now about what that is, but you're going to lose the weight on any cabbage soup diet, on any lemonade, liver detox, night sweat diet. A lot of that's going to be water that you're going to lose. Your body's going to get used to whatever you're consuming. Let me just say, those elixirs, those soups, those types of meals, they are not realistically able to be consumed lifelong. And you're not going to be, you might be able to do it. If you're stubborn enough, you could probably have cabbage soup for the rest of your life and maintain your weight. I don't know. That sounds terrible. Honesty. So because of these same diet cycle, we tend to have this fixed mindset, the standard American diet mindset, low fat, moderate carbs is what my doctor said. But what ends up happening is that you overeat in the carbs, and that grains and wheats and all of those things are super good for your body. You've got the fiber, you've got all this stuff that they've done research. And I'm going to get down a rabbit hole right here, because we are going based off of a couple men's research. So a few men's research and lots of money to the realistic, I don't know how you would put it, because there's so many people that are living this carnivore lifestyle, that are living this keto lifestyle, that are living even a paleo lifestyle. And I think even Whole30s might be able to be fit in there somehow. There's people that live in this lifestyle for years that probably have more research, more data than these three men that was trying to prove a point. And it was about in the 1950s when all these research papers came out, and they had the money, they sought out these doctors, and they said, this is the way we want people to live, and tell them to live this way. I mean, Kellogg's cereal was one of them, Mr. Kellogg's, then Mr. Post. They wanted to sell their cereal, their idea, their invention. And so they were ready and willing to share about wheat and how it was good for your body, how it was good for your heart. And they lean more towards the veganism than they did meat. So they're trying to sell these products to people. And so they tugged their strings. I'm missing the one guy's name. Axel Keys, another Axel? No, is Mr. Keys is the other one. Is another one that was a huge influencer that just, I want to say, he started what we see today. We are the result of his idea. Obesity was the result of his idea. And he's not alive to this day to see what his idea brought us to. So again, there's that idea of having a fixed mind and believing your doctor that spends 15 minutes with you for an appointment and says, oh, you're overweight, you're type 2 diabetic, your cholesterol's high, we're going to put all you on all these stats. Instead of saying, hey, you're obese, you're type 2, hey, what are you eating? How are you eating? How much are you eating? How's your stress? They don't have time for that. They're not going to ask you those questions. If they do, then you have a good doctor, because that doctor then wants to find the root ailment, the root cause of your ailment. So the same diet cycle. That's one. Yeah, you're going to lose weight. If you want to lose weight, you're going to go and jump on any of those bandwagons. They'll let you lose weight temporarily. But what about long term? What if you have this diet or this ailment? You've got, maybe you're starting to I don't know, become insulin resistant. Maybe you are pre-diabetic. Uh, Maybe you do have what they consider high cholesterol, and it's maybe the bad cholesterol, which is LDLB, just so you know, because there's types of those lipid proteins. There's different types, but there's two major sources. There's lipid protein A and lipid protein B. And we're only looking at your LDL total. That's what doctors look at, which is terrible. So it just depends. If you're looking for weight loss because your doctor said that you need to lose weight, if you have a health problem and you don't want to be in that same cycle again, you want to fix the problem, you want to get off of those medications that your doctor put you on. Maybe you're up to 20 different medications a day. Are you up to 20 medications a day? Has that doctor healed you with those medications? I mean, that's a legit question. Have those medications healed you or allowed your body to heal itself over time that you've taken those? Or is this a lifelong medication that you're having to take for the rest of your life? And then let's talk about the cost that it takes to purchase those medications. Are those medications healing you? How is it working for you? I like to ask that question. How is it working for you? So when you get to that age group that I was talking about probably closer to my age group, late 30s on up, then this awakening happens of, I'm either going into perimenopause, I'm starting to develop PCOS, I am starting to have hot flashes, and maybe you're only 35. Maybe they're trying to take your ovaries and giving you a hysterectomy because your cycle is all whacked out. Maybe you've started to even develop cysts and tumors and things like that on those areas. Men, I'm not forgetting about you. You're probably getting to the phase of becoming your doctor's telling you, oh, you got too high cholesterol. You you've got high blood pressure. You've got insulin resistance, whatever that means. They might know what insulin resistance means, but they aren't going to help you fix it. They're going to put you on a statin. They're going to put you on high cholesterol medication, which is the statin, the high blood pressure. They're going to put you on all these medications that then affect your cholesterol, which our body naturally makes cholesterol, and our brains need the cholesterol, but so does our hormones, such as testosterone. And the testosterone then starts to decrease. You don't have your testosterone levels anymore. So then they put you on that beautiful blue pill. So it's a domino effect. You know? How's that medication that doctor's giving you fixing your problems? It's not fixing it. It's putting a Band-Aid on it. That's for sure. But it's not fixing and healing that problem so that you no longer have to take those medications. Medications are not meant to heal you. Medications are just a Band-Aid that you get to spend money on every single month. If your insurance covers it, awesome. You still have to pay for your insurance. So the second tier is when you're worried about your health. So you get into that tier of that age group, and now you're worried about your health. The doctor wants you to lose weight. He's telling you to do the standard American diet, but in a healthier version, but it's not working. So that's where we come into play. This is where having a coach that sees what your lifestyle is, that sits down with you weekly, if that's what your program is, to see what your lifestyle is like. How's your stress? How's your sleep? How late are you staying up? Are you what are you consuming? We collect this data on your individual needs. And that is when we put you in a program that will best work for you. That is why it's important to get a coach, because now let me rephrase that. A good coach, because there's coaches out there that they fit you with a nutritional plan, but you're not getting the nutrients that you need in that, and you're not going to the weight in a proper way. It's a low calorie, full of soy, full of garbage. That's what it is. So there's coaches out there that know how to sell you a meal plan, how to sell you a pill, a supplement. So there's coaches out there like that. But a true coach, and I'm going to call myself a true coach. I'm standing up on a stool and I'm saying I am a true coach. I want to teach you how to figuratively fish for yourself. That's where the toolbox comes in, y'all. I knew it was coming, right? There is the map right there. And I didn't know how I was going to link that together, but there it is. That is what a good coach will do for you. They will, yes, they're going to ask for you to pay for their program. But a good coach teaches the client, the person, the individual, whomever, however you want to categorize it, to fish for themselves, to collect the data on themselves to see how their body works the best. So, how do we do that? Well, we look at your lifestyle. We look at how you live your lifestyle. We look at what your goals are. We look at what medications you're even on, just so that we know, okay, what are we working with here? Are we working with somebody that is a type 2 diabetic and they want to get off their medication? Are we working with somebody with high blood pressure that wants to lower it? Are we working with somebody that deals with high stress every single day? Are we dealing with somebody that can't sleep anymore? They have insomnia. They can't sleep properly. Are we dealing with somebody that cannot seem to get out of that diet cycle? And that's where the addiction comes in. So are we dealing with somebody that, like me, has an autoimmune disease? Maybe they have PCOS. Maybe they are, I don't know, they have now stalled on the scale because whatever program they were on before that they got sucked into program-wise is now causing them to stall. Maybe it's crashed their metabolism. Maybe it has put their body at a fixed set point that now it doesn't seem like anything they do works and they're still feeling crummy. That is what a coach does. We sit down with you and we figure out what you personally need. And so if this is you, if you are somebody who, yeah, I would love to lose weight. That's usually like the number one. But as a coach, we encourage the whole idea of metabolic health. When you focus on metabolic health, that's when the weight loss just comes off. That's just a bonus. So we like to help grow the mindset of a client in order to say, hey, let's stop focusing on this idea that you are stuck and nothing works. Let's switch, and that you just want to lose weight to get into that beach bod that you hope you know highly desire, or into the wedding dress that you need to get into, or the mom of the bride or dad of the groom, or all those things. Like, you just want to look good and lose weight. We're not thinking about what our health is doing on the inside. As a coach, that is my entire goal, is to be able to help grow the mindset of saying there's other ways to think about this that will help you get beyond this long term, not the short term. The short term are those diet cycles that we talked about. Long term is health. So that is what we do as coaches, is to help you do that. And that is the first thing that I'm going to talk about that goes into what we call a toolbox. As a coach, we help each individual try out a tool that we have that would be beneficial for them bio-individually. We don't fit them in a tiny little box and say, this is keto. Fit into this box. Don't exit out of this box or it's not going to work. Or this is carnivore. Jam you inside this box. This is carnivore. This is where you need to stay. We have so many people that come to us with so many different ailments, so many different needs, so many different genetic things, genetic genes that we have to think about and consider. So we can't just jam you inside a tiny box and say, this is where you need to be. So we call those toolboxes, and we get those ready for people with all of these different techniques, all these different tools that we encourage our clients to put in there. And it's for every situational need that they have. Because we understand that life happens. We understand that we live in a society today that is just full of convenience. Your calendars every single day are jam-packed, full of event after event, having to drive from one end of the town to the other. All you young mamas with kids that have multiple kids and different things, and that you want to support them. You have all this high stress. You have all of these things going on, and your stress level keeps going up. And that stress level is not helping your metabolic health. In fact, it's like if you just stuck a lollipop in your mouth and went on your way, and you had one in your mouth 24/7, you are putting that much insulin in your body, which turns into glucose. Glucose then turns into insulin. That's the way around. So it's spiking your glucose and causing that stress to stay level high. And you're constantly pouring out that insulin into your organs, and it just can't process all of it. So what it does is then that's where the stored fat comes in. You wonder why something's not working in your life, and it could come down to as simple as your stress level. So as a coach, we take note of that. We see that mama, that dad, that grandma with that high stress level, and that's where another tool comes in, where we use the cognitive, the body, mind, and spirit, like all those mindset. I'm thinking the neuropathy, not neuropathy. Oh my goodness, now I've lost it. I just forgot what I'm certified in. Oh my goodness, life coaching. Wow. We think of the mind, and we are helping our clients with these tools that you can use for the mind to help you release that stress. We talk about anchoring. We talk about what kind of exercises you can do to fall asleep. what kind of things that you can do to balance the stress, because I have said this over and over and over, and it's a really harsh one, but I say your stress is not going to go away. Once that one stress thing that you're stressed out goes away, there's going to be another one that's going to start attaching itself to you. And we always try to fight against the grain. We always, and it's just not it's not a smooth ride. We fight against the grain, but we need to be going with the grain. And we needed to be able to balance when that stress comes and hits us. And we will know how to handle it and be able to focus on our metabolic health. One tool I'll share. One tool that we encourage our clients that are stressed, and it might sound pretty bizarre, but I have encouraged some clients to, you know what? You know what is a great outlet for stress? Exercise. It's going to put some dopamine in your brain. And you start your day with that. You might say, well, I got to get up early. Get up a little earlier. Do some stretches. It doesn't mean you have to go to a gym. You can just go outside. If you have a nice walkway, you can go walk. Wake your brain. Have your eyes wake up with the sunrise. Then that's more. That's feeding the other hormones in your body of like, oh, it's time to wake up. It's time to go. It's time to ease the stress. Another, I'll give you a freebie. Another one I encourage my clients to do is to have a moment to think about the things that you're grateful for. Benazati calls it vitamin G, and I've held on to that one. It's your vitamin G for the morning. Think about all those things, and if you can't think of something that you're grateful for, then you must live in the middle of nowhere in a dry desert with no shelter and nobody that lives around you. And if you are, then you may be grateful for just some water. I don't know if you're living in that desert. If you have a shelter overhead, if you have a family that loves you, if you have kids that love you, maybe you feel like your family doesn't love you. Maybe there's somebody out there that is inspiring to you that loves you. That is what you should be grateful for. And when you think about that person, don't just think about that person. Think about why those things that you're grateful for, how those affect you. Why are you grateful for it? So those were just some tools that we would put in our tool belt for stress. Now, there are so many tools to be used. And we've collected all of these tools. That's why we kind of stand out. We don't just focus on keto. We focus on, like, a lot of you were confused when we were doing some carnivore. Well, what? I thought you were keto. Well, no. Like, we are keto. That is our foundation. That's our safety net. But we also know a lot about fasting. In fact, we are certified for fasting. We are certified for carnivore. We understand what paleo does. We people of our clients on paleo. There's so many different tools that can be utilized. You just need to know when and how to use it. By golly, I can't believe I've talked about for 40 minutes, more than 40 minutes. I'm proud of myself. Pat myself on the back. So, when would you use these toolbox tools that we have? Well, that's a good question. I have the answer. Here's my response to that. Holidays. Hey, y'all. Just so you know, we just got over Halloween. Some of you probably just absolutely plummeted for Halloween, giving in to all that Halloween candy and the wrappers and the sound of the wrappers, the cute trick-or-treaters, all of those things. And you gave in and you gorged yourself. That, my friend, is a diet cycle. That could also go into one of why we would use a certain tool, which would be it for addiction. Yep, I said that. The big A word, addiction. It's not just about addiction for gambling, addiction for what's another addiction? Alcohol, smoking, things that we can't stop. That is the diet cycle. We can't stop getting out of a diet cycle. It's a part of addiction. We have an amazing coach on our team. She's also the owner and passionate, just super passionate about helping people be empowered to step away from the addiction of food. It's 1 in 3. 1 in 3 of Americans are addicted food. It's that's just something for another day. I'll wait for my host to come back on to be able to talk about that more. But she has enlightened me in knowing that I'm not off the hook here. I've got my own issues, but I utilize the tools to stay away from that addiction. And for me, I talked about my autoimmune a little bit. I said something about autoimmune disease. But autoimmune disease is something to it's almost like with cancer. Like cancer lives inside of all of us. I don't know if you all know that. But if you're wondering, "Oh, I wonder if I'll ever get cancer." I hope not. We all have cancer cells that are ready to just blossom. And you know what we're doing is that we are feeding those cancer cells. We are feeding those cancer cells. Whether or not they become benign or if they are not, like we all have them. But the foods that we have in this day and age with the ultra processed foods, we are feeding those cancers. Fact. We are feeding those cancers. Do you know how we know that this is the case? Because when you're at the hospital, especially if you've been pregnant before, they give you basically a big cup of syrup, glucose. They have you drink that and they see, because that just, what is it? It makes them neon. Like it makes the cancer cells glow. It makes whatever they're looking for glow. And so that's like, it's the sugar, y'all. Um, I did get down that darn rabbit hole. Sorry, not. So for me, I was born with this autoimmune disease. I've had in this form. There's many different forms of autoimmune disease. It's something that I've always had. But as I get older, the worse it's gotten. And so this was the year where it just got so bad. And it's my form of immune disease is psoriasis on the scalp, not on the skin. But I will get dry patches, so I probably have a bit of eczema as well. Keto healed my eczema. I also had keratosis, chicken skin. In 2 weeks, that went away. So I chose to go the keto way, to fix a lot of that for weight loss, for all those things. And I fixed it. And then my psoriasis came in flare and just flared. Just flared. I lost a lot of hair. But I figured all these things by using my toolbox. I collected data on myself of the toolbox, collecting data. When you collect data on yourself, you are tracking what you eat. Continual glucose monitors are great, but they're not going to fix you, just so you know. That is just collecting data on yourself and how your body works and reacts to food. It's not, if you don't change how you eat and change what you put in your body, it's basically just going to be a tool that says, "Oh, yep, my blood levels went up. Feel terrible, but I still love it. I'm going to continue to eat it." You've got to change. That was just a little tip. But so again, so for autoimmune disease, I went carnivore. This is why I'm going carnivore. This is why I've been carnivore for 72 days. And the reason why I went that is because it is the best elimination diet. The best way to figure out what your body is sensitive to, while giving you the protein. We're omnivores. We need the protein. I don't care what the vegans and the vegetarians say out there. We need that protein. And the meat has all of those vitamins that a plant will give you. Just do your research. Stretch arms. Brings me to the growth mindset. We encourage our clients to have a growth mindset. If you don't have a growth mindset, with this lifestyle, you're going to just be stuck in the fixed mindset with the standard American diet. You're going to be confused. Well, why not? But you wouldn't have that why not because you're so fixed on what you've been taught and what we've been taught in the standard American diet. And having a growth mindset helps you blossom and grow into and asking those questions. Well, why is this product making me feel like this? Mine, I have learned through this journey, is that dairy is not my friend. And by golly, I ate a lot of dairy in my keto world, but I know now that this has caused a flare up of my scalp. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have dairy ever again, but this is diving deep into the autoimmune system here, diving deep in my gut. And so I'm using my toolbox to be able to learn about how my body works. Sometimes you have to take that tool of carnivore, add it into your lifestyle to get where you want to go. And then, if you love your fruits and vegetables, awesome. There's keto. There's nothing to say that keto is not allowing you to have, fruits, berries. Berries is better. Having those fruits. But there's another form then that goes to, it will trigger you. If you have a food addiction, some of these foods that you think are healthy are going to trigger you to have a 50-pound binge. You're going to go fall into that diet cycle all over again. So again, I know it's almost time. I guess I don't really have a time frame. I can go as long as possible, but I will wrap it up here. This is a very, very long talk, but let's talk about the things that we use our toolbox for holidays. If you're stalled on the scale, if you're not even losing inches, like that is something that you need to address. Ailments. If you have high blood pressure, if you are type 2 diabetic or pre-diabetic, if you have PCOS, if you have an autoimmune disease, if you have, let's say, high cortisol, all of these things can be utilized because it's that phrase from way back in the day, and I'm not sure what commercial or what food product or what it was promoting, but is the phrase of "you are what you eat." That to me makes more sense nowadays than it did back then. You are what you eat. So if you're going to be eating sugar and your unsaturated oils, those seed oils, the fermented nasty oils and ultra processed foods, if you're going to eat those things, you're probably going to feel it. You're probably going to have inflammation. You're probably going to walk around hurting. You're probably going to be walking around with that high blood pressure. You're probably going to be walking around with early set on dementia because that's type 3 diabetes. All of these things have a root problem in which that's why these doctors are throwing these medications at you, just putting a Band-Aid on it because they're like, well, you're not going to listen to me anyway. You're not gonna eat what I'm telling you to eat. Well, for one, they don't know what you're supposed to eat because the hospitals are probably the unhealthiest places to find food for those that have these problems. Um, but that's what we use these tools for. Are all of these ailments, all of these autoimmune diseases, all of these um, unknowns about your body. Did you know your body was created? God created our bodies to be able to heal themselves. And you want to fight me on that? What is a scab for? Our bodies create a scab to heal, to allow the wound to heal, to allow the cells to start to repair. Our organs can do the same thing, but we fill it with so much crap all the time that we don't allow our organs to be able to heal themselves. We overindulge, which then produces, and our bodies are so smart that they're like, oh, well, I have too much of this right now, so I'm gonna store it on your hip. Well, wait, you just fed me not too long ago. I said I was full, but I'll take it. But I'm gonna go put it on this other hip. I'm gonna put this as fat, and I'm gonna put it on the other hip. Oh my goodness, another meal. Cool. I'm proud of you. But listen, uh, I've said I have too much already. I don't need any more. So I'm gonna share it over to uh the liver. I'm gonna share it over to the heart. I'm gonna share it over to your pancreas. Like, I'm gonna put some more on my pancreas, but I'm way too full. This is done. I'm done. But we keep feeding our bodies this crap. It doesn't allow our bodies to be able to even get rid of the senescent cells because we're constantly feeding it. We're constant. That's one thing that we are good at. We are consistent at eating. But when it comes to actually doing a habit to heal our bodies, that's where, oh, well, we're not very consistent there. I'll change tomorrow. Oh, I messed up again. By golly, I'll start next week. Come January, that is my New Year's resolution. So I'm going to start in January. I know the holidays are here. I don't want to miss out on the traditions of making cookies with my grandkids. I don't want to miss out on all those candies. I might gain 15 pounds, but I've got January. So these are what these tools are for, to help you change that mindset, to have a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, to be able to get out of that mousetrap or that cycle that we tend to keep going down. So once we go against that and we say, nope, I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to use my tools that work for me to be healthy, and that allows my body to heal itself. Whew, to me, that is freedom, y'all. That is the most freedom that we could possibly have, is when we are empowered with our own health control. So with that, I could probably keep going. I could. Let's face it. I'm a windbag. I'm learning that today. I'm a windbag, and I have a lot of information in my head, but I want you to question what you're doing. I want you to ask those questions. Why do I keep hitting in the same areas that I know cause me to fail? Why do I keep the drama in my life to be constantly stressed? Why do I keep seeking convenience? I'll explain what I did, a transition that I made maybe a couple months ago. Since the 2020 drama that happened, I switched over to paper plates because it was convenient. Like, ain't nobody got that time to do dishes. I've got these boys that are eating and, I'm doing these dishes and it's just, it would be so much easier. So we just ended up starting to use paper plates, and I even had them auto shipped to my house. How stupid. But I did it, and I did it for 2 years. Then I had an awakening of, you know what? Not only am I diving into this world of convenience, and not only am I feeding our landfills this paper plate, but we are putting hot foods on these paper plates, which more than likely is covered with the plastic or this wax. And so I'm putting these microplastics into our foods, feeding it to my children, feeding it to myself, feeding it to my husband, and we wonder why we don't feel good. So I ditched it. Now, do I still eat on a paper plate? Every blue moon, like every once in a while, we'll have a busy weekend and I'm like, oh, we'll just grab a paper plate. It's fine. But I don't put hot foods on there anymore. Even it's probably not as bad, but it's not as good. But we switched over to our dinnerware. Like, there's nothing wrong with our dinnerware. We got a dishwasher. So that is an example of using the tools and doing the hard things. Doing dishes, I hate doing dishes. But those are hard things, and I'm choosing to do the hard things in order to improve my health. Fun fact, did you know that they find microplastics in women's cycle every month? And if you don't have that cycle, you're not detoxing those microplastics out of your body. So you're wondering why you are hurting? That might be why. But we also eat about a credit card size, I think, weekly of microplastics. So education, we encourage our clients to add that into their toolbox of let's grow our minds, let's ask questions, let's collect data on ourselves. That, my friend, is a coach. When they're going to get down in the mud with you and they're going to pull you out of that muck because you keep finding yourself there and you're tired, you're exhausted, and you just want out. You just want your body back. Maybe you've never experienced having a healthy body before. Maybe you want to experience what that's like. To me, that is worth having a coach that knows this is what it's like to be in the mud, and I get it. I was there. And I had somebody wake me up and say, grab my hand and let's get out of here. Are we done sulking yet? Let's go. I know the way. I've got the key. We got to get those excuses out of there, y'all. We got to get the excuses out and start focusing on our metabolic health, utilizing these tools that your coach is going to teach you so that you can learn it, apply it, and keep it guarded and keep it going for the rest of your life. Having a mindset of when I am in my 90s, 80s or 90s, God willing, I want to run a marathon. I hate running, but I want to be able to run a marathon when I am that age. I want to do a mud run because I know that I'm feeding my body what it needs and that it's capable of doing that. That's a pretty far out goal in life. That means I have a lot of work to do. But that lot of work is a lifetime of work. So I am pacing myself. I am growing little by little. I'm growing 1% at a time and switching over to products that are better for me, little at a time, not getting caught up in perfection, but focusing on the progress that I'm making. That, my friend, is another reason why you need this coach, and you need this coach today. You need somebody to help get you out of the bottom of that barrel. I've been there. And it's a very lonely place because you get stuck in your head. You get stuck in that head of yours and you just mull over all the things that you're struggling with. Whether it be depression, whether it be a deep ailment that you just can't seem to get rid of, whether it be an autoimmune disease that just causes you so much problem, whether it be addiction. In those dark, dark places, I'm not going to say what I was going to try to say because that wasn't happening. But in those dark places, y'all, is where we find ourselves to be the loneliest, all alone. But let me tell you, there is hope. There is freedom. Freedom from your mind of despair. There's joy. There's joy in the morning and joy in the evening. But sometimes you got to follow that light of joy to be like, okay, this is where I'm going to go. I'm done. I'm done grabbing onto all these excuses of why I can't. I'm done with all these ultra processed foods that are just holding on to my mind and causing me to be addicted to them. I'm done with it all. I'm ready to be free. I'm ready to be empowered. I'm ready to take my health into my own hands. And when you do that, there's no stopping you. There's no stopping you. So you've got to want it. If you don't want it, if your spouse doesn't want it, you can't force somebody to want it. You can only plant seeds, and that's what I'm doing today. So if you are looking for a coach, we have some spaces. We got a lot of spaces filled up from our carnivore, but mine is I've got half being carnivore and half not. So I've got space in my program. I always say the best one that you could choose is a 3-month program, and then we can go from there because we have renewal prices that aren't as much as when you're first going into the program. But I'm able to understand how you work. I'm able to see what you need personally. And, I'm able to hold you accountable for all the things that you need. So that is why I love our 3-month program. I love our 6 and 12, but the 3-month is more of like, oh, what if I don't? What if this is not for me? Then you've got 3 months with me, and then you can decide otherwise. But you just go to kmhealthcoaching.org and you will find about us. You will find the coaches. Coach Monica has an amazing addictions program that if you and a test to see if you are a food addict. If you are a food addict, just take that test. And if you're not, then we have other programs for you. If you are, you can always do those programs, but we're always probably going to suggest that maybe you go through the food addiction. So between that and going to our podcast, go listen to that, go share it out, go give us a review. And again, I don't know what the topic is for this week because we pre-record these and we record ahead of time just so that we get ahead of the schedule. And I have no idea. This might be one of our clients, another one. It might be. I'd have to go check. And I'm not going to even try to go and send you the link. Go to Go to Beyond the Scale Health and Wellness, and you'll find us on all of the podcast platforms that are out there. Again, leave us a review if you have a suggestion of something that you'd like us to talk about. We would love to talk about it. Today, we just talked about a toolbox. We talked a lot about more than a toolbox, but that was just chipping the edge there. There's so much more to it. Biggest thing that I have to share for you today is go and vote. And maybe you're listening to me in the line at the voting booth, and I wish you a happy election day. And I hope you brought a chair, because I hope that there's lines that you're having to stand in, especially at noon. But listen, it's super important. This means a lot. And next week, Coach Monica will be back, and I have no idea what the topic will be. So again, if you have a topic that you'd like to hear from us, then please send us a message, and we would love to talk about it because we're not afraid to talk about anything. I don't think we are. I don't think we've ever been faced with a topic that we were like, oh, some things we like to leave to the professionals, like doctors, because we are not doctors. We have our opinions, but we're not doctors, and we don't know smart words like they do. So there are some topics that we're like, we'll probably quote from one of their books, but we'll guide you in the best way that we know how to. But hey, have a fantabulous Tuesday. I hope you all have a blessed day. I just for some reason, I want to say, go America. I don't know why. I feel like that's more of like a cheer. Go forth and vote. And we'll see you all next week. Somehow, you just got to bear with me because there's like a closing that I've got to push and I can't find my mouse. But I hope that whatever I said today, maybe I just need to click. Oh, I hope whatever I said today was enlightening, encouraging, and listen, there's hope. There's hope. You just got to lean into it. You've got to be ready for it. You've got to be like, yeah, I'm ready for that hope. I'm ready to work hard. So, again, have a fantastic Tuesday. Bye.
Hey, it's Coach Monica here. Guess what? If you're fed up with feeling stuck in your battle with weight or food, I've got something just for you. Check out our free Facebook groups. Over at Food Addiction and Recovery, I'm over there waiting for you. We're going to walk this journey together. It's about getting real, sharing our stories, and lifting each other up. We're in this together every step of the way. And if you're curious about changing your life with keto, the Weight Loss Project is where you want to be. Coach Darcy is amazing. And together, we're not just talking about losing weight. We're talking about finding a happier, healthier you. So, what do you say? Are you ready to join us? The links are in the show notes below, and I'm telling you, this is more than an invite. It is the start of something.